Hey, welcome everyone to Health Coach TV. I'm Dr. Shaunna, and I am super excited to have an amazing guest today, Marcos. Welcome, Marcos.
Thank you, Shaunna. It's my pleasure to be here with you.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to give you a proper introduction in just a moment, but as people are joining us here, just give a shout out if this is your first Health Coach TV that you've ever watched or tuned into. And if you've seen multiple of them, just put a plus plus. I'd also love to know, where in the world are you coming from? We have Marcos coming in here from Mexico. I am currently in Canada, and we have an audience of all over the world. So I'd love to hear, where are you from? So feel free to type that into the chat as well. And before we get going, I always like to start off with a disclaimer. Although I am a medical doctor, I'm not your medical doctor. So you're always going to want to consult with your own healthcare provider about what's right for you. So with that, let me officially welcome our guest. Marcos Masri Cherem is a board-certified holistic health coach specializing in weight loss in pre-diabetics, following his own 40-pound weight loss success story and balancing of his own blood sugar. He was born and raised in Mexico City. He's married to his beautiful wife, Reina, and they have 3 kids. Rena is 9, Ruth is 6, and Alberto is 2 years old. Marcos has a bachelor degree in finances and accounting and accountability, and is certified health coach from the Institute of Integrative Nutrition in New York. He is also certified by the International Association of Health Coaches and has had extensive additional training in both national and international certifications. And I have observed Marcos just improving his skills, leaps and bounds, and just continually up-leveling himself to be able to deliver his absolute best for his clients. He's been featured on multiple TV interviews, as well as radio interviews and podcasts and live conferences and workshops. And he's become really somewhat of a sensation in Mexico, and especially amongst the Spanish-speaking community. Now, I am excited to introduce him to our largely English-speaking community here as well tonight. So his clients absolutely love and adore him, and he gets amazing results. But what many of you don't know is that he has his own health story. I know a lot of people in my community have seen him be so successful with his clients, but they don't know where all that came from. So we're going to dive into his own story. He has a wealth of information, and I can't wait for you to meet him and hear his story and hear what he has to say. So welcome, Marcos.
Thank you, Shaunna. It's my pleasure to be here at Health Coach TV with you.
Excellent. All right. So let's dive into this. And as an aside, let me just grab my note here so that I can see if there's comments or questions. Feel free to type those into the chat here as we go. And if you're tuning in, you'll definitely want to grab a pen and paper, because we're going to cover some good stuff. So Marcos, tell us what it is that you do now as a health coach.
I help pre-diabetics balance their blood sugar so they can look good, but feel amazing, feel great, to be a role model for their kids as well.
Yeah, that's so important. I mean, once you help the mom, it has a ripple effect. Is that kind of why you picked moms as well?
Yes, I think the only way I can stop this epidemic of diabetes and obesity is with the children, with the kids. And to be able to work with the kids and the young ones, it's easier if I have the moms on the same side.
Yeah.
So when I help moms, I am helping their kids, and I'll helping also her home, her husband, and all the entire circle in them.
Absolutely, and it has a ripple effect. And so yeah, that's very smart.
Yeah.
Very smart to have the most influence there, because the mom's the one who, generally speaking, brings food into the home, and and does have influence upon what people eat and things. So, and it is diabetes and obesity, they are like, it is a problem that's out of control. I was just looking at some stats for a book I'm writing, actually. And, obesity now is like nearly 40% of adults in America are obese, and about 71% are overweight. So those are huge statistics. And it's not without consequence. I mean, it will shorten, obesity alone shortens people's lifespan by 6 to 14 years. And those last 20 years are not pretty. So I want to commend you for the work that you do. And we're going to touch more on why that's so important. So tell me, what had you get into this line of work, Marcos?
So when I was 25 years old, 8 years ago, I was overweight and out of shape. I had a pulmonary embolism and a virus that changed me forever. When I was at the hospital, I in the first 4 days there was no diagnosis, so that was something that it was very difficult at that moment. I lost everything at that moment, even hope, because it was very difficult not having a diagnosis. We know that medicine, doctors, treatment, surgery can cure us and get us out from there. But if there is no diagnosis, there is no that's the first step to for that to work.
Yeah, you don't even know where you're at and where you're starting. And I can imagine how scary that can be. So absolutely. And
Yeah.
pulmonary embolism is no joke. Actually, I had an aunt die of that, and a doctor that I worked with, his daughter died of a pulmonary embolism. So that's like serious. It's not a joke. So okay, so keep going. Tell
And at that moment, I realized that we are able to sow what we are going to reap. And my lifestyle at that moment had consequences. My choices had led to a certain outcome that was not the one that I would like at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
I got out from the hospital. They prescribe me and recommend me to exercise and lose weight. Something that now is a is in every prescription, and it was very difficult at the beginning. It was very difficult, and I didn't really know what to do. I had not been in a diet before, and exercise was not part of my lifestyle. So I joined a club. I started playing tennis, and at the beginning it was very difficult because I had to stop the paid lesson, a private lesson. I had to stop it 20 minutes after it started because I had to vomit in the court, and I felt terrible. And then I started a little bit and a little bit more, and then a little bit more. And after a year of playing, I played with a guy that he's like 15 years older than me. And at that moment, after the first set, I was ready to go to the sauna. And and even he didn't say anything at that moment. I just thought how was going to be my life 15 years later. I was not uh, creating a good lifestyle, even I was exercising. So I joined in the fitness a challenge, a 4-month challenge, where I had a nutritionist. For my first time in my life, I joined a nutritionist and a diet. And then also I had a personal trainer, and I was there for 18 months. I stayed there for 18 months. But from the beginning, I told my wife that I needed her on board. I needed her help to cook and to have different food, at least for me. But I was not going into a diet. So I was not expecting any kind of results. And I was not expecting any kind of results in the short time. That's why I lasted 18 months. And then Even I finished that, I continue with a sport nutritionist, and then I became a health coach. And now that I have the information and the tools, my lifestyle is very different. I don't live in a diet. I am much healthier than before, and I know exactly that journey of losing weight and creating and having and maintaining a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, I know. And how much weight did you end up losing in that?
I end up losing like about 40 pounds.
How long ago was that, all of this, Marcos?
7 years ago.
So that's awesome. Like to be able to lose weight, the 40 pounds, and then keep it off for 7 years, that's really impressive. So it's like you said, this is not a diet that I'm going on and off of, and a really powerful wake up call. I mean, pulmonary embolus, that is serious. And and then to see that, with the tennis guy that was older than you, just because you're getting older doesn't mean you have to deteriorate. And it's like, wow, if I'm in this shape now, where am I going to be in 15 years? And some of these wake up calls are really powerful. I had one as well. I remember when my kids were younger, and I was 30 pounds heavier, I was like, I couldn't keep up with my kids. I was, running around on the soccer field and I was just winded, or even just going up the stairs and I was winded. And I'm like, I'm in my 30s, like what the heck? And so you get these moments where you say, hey, you make a decision. I guess that's really, you come to that moment where you make a decision and saying, you peer down the road and say, if I keep going this way, the way I've been going for the last 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, where does that end? And you take that moment to make a decision and go, I'm going to choose something different. And so great of you to have your wife on board. I think that's important. Obviously, if she's going to be doing some of the cooking and things like that, she needed to be on board. So I just want to commend you for that. And so for people, I think that helps you to have compassion and understanding and really get where people are coming from. Like, it's not easy. Well, it can be, but it's hard to do on your own. Lose weight.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I also have hypoglycemia.
Mm.
So in my entire life, I solved it, but I didn't solve it in the best way because I didn't have the information and the tools. I didn't understand what it happens, how does it happen, how to solve it in a healthier way. So my life has changed since I managed that hypoglycemia without having a lot of refined carbs. That was the way I used to solve it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I so commend you. So I'm seeing people joining us on the line here. And as you're joining, feel free to, as you're listening in, just type where you're joining us from. I always like to find out what country, state, province, what part of the world people are joining us from. All right, so Marcos, I know that you help people with diabetes and obesity or pre-diabetics. Would you say you were pre-diabetic?
Yes, I can say that because the hypoglycemia is the first step of the insulin resistance, and then diabetes, type 2 diabetes.
Yeah, I had talked to someone today who kind of had the same story, although in their mind they didn't realize they were pre-diabetic. So I think that's important to know. A lot of times people just know that this blood sugar is up and down, and it's unstable before it gets balanced, if people are going to become better, or it becomes more unstable and they become diabetic. So why is having an ideal weight and a normal blood sugar important? Let's talk about that. Why even bother trying to solve this problem?
I think these two things are key for having health, for having a healthy lifestyle. These two conditions are chronic conditions that are created through the lifestyle.
Hmm.
So once we balance the blood sugar and we maintain in the ideal weight, there are other type of conditions that come from this from having obesity and diabetes. So we can prevent a lot and have a healthier lifestyle at the end.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a ripple effect of, um, yeah, cancer, diabetes, heart disease, stroke. It's a marker for inflammation. It is just everything. And I think World Health Organization said that obesity kills 3.4 million people. Well, maybe it's a billion. Would that make sense? Annually, I gotta check my numbers. But it's a lot. It's a lot, and it is now, obesity is said to overtake tobacco as the number one killer, and of us. And it's like, it's preventable. We can do something about it.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so that's the thing. If it was, if there are things that we can.
As well as the diabetes is reversible.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's something that we have on our hands to manage.
Yeah, yeah. And type 2 diabetes, there is a lot that we can do, and it's devastating. I mean, you follow that train out, that diabetic train out, and it's not pretty. It is not pretty. That, losing the feeling in your feet, having infections, amputations, losing your eyesight, kidney failure. This is not a road you want to go down. So if I would say avoid it at all costs. No good comes from that. And at every stage, there's a way to, course correct it around, but the earlier that you can catch it, the better. Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
I know we had a nurse, one of our clients was a nurse, Alex, and she worked on the vascular ward, and there was a man in there who was diabetic and had 3 kids, much like yourself, Marcos. And this man was overweight and diabetic, and he was in getting his second amputation. And he had been in hospital for over a year. And he had missed the kids' birthdays. He'd missed the kids' Christmases, and he's missed so much of their life. And I know statistically, if we look at that situation in 5 years, he's not even going to be alive. And so this is the work that you do, Marcos, is really important. And the work that your clients do to get out ahead of this, alter that trajectory, also really important. And it's not actually that hard. I mean, it's hard to get started. It's hard to get support. It's hard to know the steps to do. But once you do it, it's not like your life every day is a struggle. It's just little shifts. It's just little shifts. Yeah.
I tell them it's like a circle. You can join the red circle or the green circle.
Yeah. So what's the biggest myth? And I'm going to take a look here, and we've got Yvonne is a dentist from Mexico that is joining us, and she's also an IIN health coach. So, hi, Yvonne. Hi, Maria. She's my team executive assistant here at the Health Professional Academy. Just a shout out to her. We have, and she's calling in from New York. I have Elvia. We have here. We have now my hang on, it just flipped. We got Marianne Brown from Pittsburgh. Hi, Marianne. Julia, and I think she's from California today. Excellent. It says 15 comments, but it's letting me only see 14 or 15. So, or only letting me see 4. So keep typing it in there. That'll pop up. I think Facebook does that. Anyways, all right. So back to you. What is the biggest myth, Marcos, when it comes to weight loss?
That's a very good question. I think the biggest myth is dieting. I think that there is no diet that works and it is sustainable. Deprivation is not sustainable as well. And the body needs nourishment. It's about nourishing your body and not depriving it.
Yeah, it's so important. It's not about beating up or depriving your body. It's about fueling it, nourishing it, loving it. It's about feeding it what it needs, not taking away those building blocks. Excellent. So what are some of the spin-off benefits that you've seen working with clients? So obviously they're going to lose weight and they're going to balance their blood sugar. So great. But what are give us some, either examples of things that you've seen, maybe, 2 or 3 examples of things that
I think more energy is the first one that they get. I remember one client one amazing client, Sari. She had, when she came to my office, she asked me to give her back his energy, his battery, she said. And she was so tired. Um, she was not wanting to go out and hang out with friends, even with family. And now she, after 3 weeks of working together, she got her energy back and her life back with that energy.
Yeah. Yeah. Energy is huge. I remember when I was health coaching people, they would lose weight, but what kept them going and why they want, it was the energy that they got. And so that's good. She got her batteries back. So that's excellent. What are some other spin-off benefits that you've seen?
I remember another one with better sleep and also productivity,
Yes.
because sleep is it's a pillar on this lifestyle.
Yeah.
And I remember, for example, Jacobo, that he has lost about 35 pounds so far. And the biggest benefit was his sleep, and the rest, he was able to improve his productivity and performance at work, his humor, and the way he reacts to things, and to hang out with his family and in the work, and things that happen in his life every day is also better. So
Yeah, that's amazing. I know that when I had lost my weight and clean eating, and I wasn't to the extent of being pre-diabetic, but I definitely had lower energy, which not able to keep up with the kids. But once I was eating clean and I'd lost the weight, that uh, mental clarity, and improved productivity at work was huge. And things that used to overwhelm and stress me out, I was able to triage and manage better. So that's really key. It's really helps people, and to be able to have your humor back and be able to not react so harshly is huge. It's life changing.
yeah,
Anymore?
it's something you cannot buy in a store.
Yeah, yeah. Any other spin-off ones that come to mind?
I have another one that I remember Andrea. She heard about me through her work, and her benefit was, she didn't wanted or join because of losing weight, uh, but she wanted to lose about 5 pounds, and but she had severe frequent migraines.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And with changing her lifestyle, she was able to decrease the frequency and also the severity of her migraines, uh, to now about once a month.
Yeah.
And even this is now controlled without medications, so that she's not on meds anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome, because migraines are devastating. And I mean, that impacts your work productivity, obviously, and your health and your ability to go out and enjoy life. So that is an amazing spin-off benefit. So yeah, I love it. And so how do you work with your clients, Marcos? Like, what do you do? Like, how does this work? Do you see them in person? Do you see them over the phone? Or how does that work?
So most of my clients are either moms or businessmen who have been struggling with to lose weight, like I had years ago.
Yeah.
And they are looking to lose weight, gain energy, balance their blood sugars, and be a great role model for their kids. A lot of my clients are parents, and they want to set a better example for their kids. So I walk them step by step through a program, and I work with them very closely. I do everything online. So the way we are talking about now,
Like this.
yeah, like this. I help them. I give recorded content, but I also give live sessions like this one,
Mhm.
and support 24/7. And I walk them step by step, and hold them accountable as well, to create that lifestyle that it is not impossible. It's not easy, but it is not impossible.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's so important. So you meet, sometimes you meet them in person, but you actually can reach people all over the world through this wonderful modern technology that we have here, as accessible to us now. So it's kind of like we're face to face, you know, back and forth here. So it's face to face, but it avoids the traffic.
Yeah, actually, let me tell you that I have met some people here in my office, but only for the first time. And then, if we are gonna work together and commit with delivering results to them, we start doing it online.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's important, you know, it's that you do meet online like this, rather than it just. Sometimes people think, oh, you do this online. It means they think they get through some online modules all on their own by themselves, and that
So
usually doesn't work because people don't have that support and they don't have the accountability, and they're like, ah. So you know, it's nice to be able to provide additional value in an online way, but it's really important, you know, to have somebody who's understanding and who's able to support and guide them. So
I think that that is most of the value I give and I provide,
is that right?
because information is everywhere.
Sure.
And the models I give, if they don't work with me, they can find it online in books. They can read. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
But that support to start and maintain and create that lifestyle, that is the where the value is.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And I want to really, again, commend you for the work that you're doing. And it's so funny that you lost 40
Thank
pounds.
you. Yeah.
I remember when I was younger, that my dad went to the doctor, and the doctor, which is hardly ever, like the one time he went to a doctor, and they said, the doctor said, don't come back till you lose 40 pounds. So he never went back. So, so that's not really helpful. Uh,
Because they say it easy.
yeah.
Don't come back when you until you lose 40 pounds. If they say 5 pounds, how do I do it?
Yeah, yeah, somebody who spent, well, he would have been, I don't know how old he would have been in that, at that time, 40s, 50s, if it, that part of his life had led to him being 40 pounds overweight, there's a good chance that he's not going to be able to just quit that, you know, all at once. And and our food supply has been messed with a little bit. So sometimes the deck is stacked against us when it comes there. Food that we may have grown up with, or that we saw family eat, or and that was okay, is now not necessarily okay. So let's dive into some tips. I know you had some tips you were going to share with our viewers, and I just want to commend everybody who's commenting. Catherine's saying you're very inspiring, and so
Thank you.
lots of thumbs up here. So, and I will reply to all those comments. So if you have questions, feel free to ask them. I'm not seeing all of them live here, but we will definitely, if you have questions, feel free to ask. So grab a pen if you're watching, because I'm going to ask you which one of these tips is either the one that you're going to start to implement today, or is one that you've already implemented that's had a profound effect upon you. And feel free to share your story about that. So, all right, take it away, Marcos. Let's go through some tips for people who are like, I got to lose weight. Where do I even start? And I got to balance my blood sugar. Where do I start? What are some tips you can share?
So the first one, and I think the most important, is decrease your sugary drinks. People drink a lot of sugar, and especially in sodas, but also in coffee, in sport beverages, in flavored water. So a lot of sugar coming in, and just by replacing soda, even if it is diet soda or light or zero or
Right, right.
with water, for example, makes a huge difference.
Yeah, yeah. That's huge. I think people are drinking a lot of calories and sugar for sure. Even like the coffee drinks. I did a talk once just on the coffee drinks alone that we have and how much sugar is in it. Some of them have like 3/4 of a cup of sugar, and that's without the whipped cream and all the rest on it. So yeah, that's a huge tip. And yeah, okay. What's another tip?
So the second tip is drink more water, and that is something that you have to build. If you carry water in a thermo, for example, if you carry it all time with you, you are gonna be able to drink it.
Yeah, I have my water here too. I keep refilling this way I can keep track.
So these tips are the ones that I give to my private clients.
Yeah,
So the same ones,
yeah.
and they even buy the same thermo I have.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Because it is helpful just to make it easier to do. So, what about people? Some people are like hate drinking water. What can you say about that? Like, or they're not
So
used to it. They're going from, well, I'm used to having a pop or a soft drink, and now I'm gonna have water. So,
water, it's like going directly through a wall. I understand that it's very difficult. So they can start, for example, with adding fruit, um, like in chunks,
mhm,
and it will just give the taste or a little bit of sugar, and it's very different that kind of sugar than the one that we can find in the soda or in the
yeah,
flavor water.
yeah,
So that's a step to start drinking more water,
yeah, yeah.
and we get used to drinking water or drinking soda. So
Absolutely, absolutely. Our bodies acclimatize to that, and so yeah, and all the spas you'll see they'll have. Oh, I remember in Hawaii they had pineapple or different infused water, or watermelon, or cucumber, or lemon, or lime. Just adding lemon or lime to water
yeah.
is yeah, is a great way to flavor it. If ordinary water is not cutting it for you as well. I suppose tea as well is another
Tea also.
that people could get that into. So
I even I drink a lot of water. Sometimes it happens to me in particular places, particular days. I know them, and what I do is I prepare a tea, fruit tea, and I sip it on ice.
yeah.
So
Yeah, yeah. I've been writing my next book, and so I have this special tea that I like to drink when I'm writing. So, and and that's a ritual, and it's a habit, and it's something that you can get used to, or not used to. You can get used to rushing out the door and having your breakfast of a coffee and a donut, or you can start your day with a glass of water.
and just saying when we say tea is without sugar or without any
Yeah,
kind of sugar.
yeah, that's great. That's a good point to say that. Exactly. Okay, what's another tip?
Another one would be cut down on refined carbohydrates with a lot of refined carbohydrates in cakes and pastas and pizzas, and that spikes the blood sugar. So my recommendation here is to choose brown. It's very easy. You don't have to deprive yourself. You just have to change. Choose brown rice instead of the regular white rice, and you will be more satisfied, and your blood will not spike.
The blood sugar not spike. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Also, for example, whole grain bread instead of white bread
Mhm.
or just wheat bread will that little change
Mhm.
will make a lot of difference.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a whole, it's a really good book that I read years ago. It's called Magic Foods, put out by Reader's Digest. And on my YouTube channel at Dr. Shaunna, they have, I have a book review of that book. But the whole book is really about those little shifts of swapping out some foods. And just like you say, just that little shift from one to the other, from white rice to brown rice even. And you see like such a difference in the blood sugar, the lowering of the blood sugar spike. So yeah, excellent
Yeah.
tip. Okay, what other tips?
Another one is increase vegetable intake. I recommend eating more salads, starting your meal, every meal with vegetables, with a soup or with a salad or both, if it's possible. And I also discovered juicing. I have one or two green juices every day, and that way it helped me increase the intake of vegetables a lot.
Excellent. Yeah, that is a. I like to put the greens in smoothies and things, and have that every day. But juicing, when I think of juicing, I think of Jack LaLanne. I don't know if you know who he is, but he was an exercise guru way back that lived into his late 90s, but he had a juicer. I own his Jack LaLanne's juicer.
I know it.
That's where I discovered juicing from too. But what a great way to get a lot of vegetables in. And you mix it with a few fruits. We're going to talk about some recipes in a moment. So stay tuned here. We're getting there. What other, and by the way, Marcos, you inspired me. Dinner today was a spinach salad with soup. I'm like, yes, I should have
Yeah.
salad and soup. That sounds good. Excellent. So what's another tip?
Another one would be exercise. And when I say exercise, I I think on start moving. Doesn't have to be an hour at the gym or 3 hours. Start walking, park further from the entrance,
Yes.
use the stairs instead of the elevator. Even if you are going to the 10th floor, use the stairs at least 2 or 3 floors and then use the elevator from there. That little changes, then you will see big changes in the future.
Yeah, I mean, when I had my four sons that were little, and so I couldn't go to the gym for an hour. Like that's just not going to happen. And even laying down to do like sit-ups, and I'd have four little munchkins all over me. So that was even challenging. But I would just incorporate it if I was on the phone, walking around, or doing leg raises, or blowing my hair dry. I would just do some squats or something, just like a few little minutes, and just kind of, or kick a soccer ball around with the kids, something like that, just to get a little bit of it incorporated.
Yeah,
And that actually makes a difference. Those little things really make a difference. So I'm
absolutely.
working on getting a standing desk, actually, because now that I love the work that I do, but this chair sees a lot of action, which I have to come up with a remedy for. I have to get moving. Okay, what's another tip?
Another one is manage your stress.
Mhm.
Let me tell you that the world doesn't teach us to manage the stress and to relax. It teaches us to multitask
Yeah.
and to be more productive and more productive. Even dreaming, you have to be productive. And so that I can recommend even breathing, that it will not cost you a membership.
Yes.
You can do it anytime, everywhere, and it's very easy, and the benefits are huge.
Okay. Well,
There are many types of or different therapies to manage the stress. You need to try and to find the one you can that you can do it and fits with you. Not
yeah.
not everyone fits with everyone.
Everybody's got a different well, okay, so breathing, that's a great example. Like it doesn't cost you anything, because we kind of have all the equipment we need. Can you walk us through our viewers, can we all do a deep breathing exercise, or
Yeah, sure.
okay, so you demonstrate with me, I'll be your guinea pig, and you guys watching in, you can join in.
Sure.
Take it away, Marcos. Show me what to do.
Okay, so close your eyes and just tap into your breath. And then you are gonna fully inhale for 4 seconds. Pause for 2 seconds. And exhale for 6 seconds.
Awesome.
And then you can repeat it and repeat it and repeat it until I do it 10 times, 3 times a day.
It's very calming, and it's a way to just slow you down. And when you think about it, when you think you have no time, that was like what, 10 seconds, 15 seconds.
It can take you 1 minute. If you give yourself 1 minute, that's how Andrea managed her migraine today.
Yeah. And I know when it's crazy, so that it's some of my clients, when they're at work, if you're at work and in a stressful situation, you can't always like leave a situation, but if you can take a bathroom break, you have a minute, or even if you work in front of a computer, you can be doing, and nobody knows, just kind of zone out for a minute, just kind of diffuse your focus for a moment and get out of your head, and just breathe into that moment, and you can just do it right there. No one even knows what you're doing. It's okay. It's a fantastic thing to do. Awesome. And I think you have one more tip.
One more. Get your sleep. Get your sleep. Sleep is a pillar of a healthy lifestyle. A lot of great things come from a good sleep, and it allows your body to repair and rejuvenate your cells. So it is a ritual. You have to build it. It's not something that will appear or just by. It's very different when you have a ritual and you sleep and have a deep sleep than when you are watching a movie and fall asleep.
Right. Yeah.
That's very different.
Yeah, that's a good point, Marcos, because people are like, hey, I slept in, or I slept on the couch, or that's a good point, because usually if you're overtired and you pass out, it's not the same thing. Or if you're doing, I remember my university days, clunk on the desk, face plant into a textbook, that's not the same thing. That's not the same thing that you're talking about. And deep quality sleep is really, really important. It actually helps you lose weight.
Absolutely.
And improves
manage your cravings.
Yeah, absolutely. And your insulin resistance, it helps with your blood sugar. Absolutely, a huge difference. I would, you can sleep it off, literally. So excellent. So I want, for those of you that are chiming in with the comments, thank you and awesome. Which one of those was your favorite tip? What is something that you're either going to share, start practicing yourself, that you were reminded to do, or that you might share with one of your clients if you're a health coach? So this is excellent, Marcos. As we're wrapping up here, I know you are offering our viewers, so all of you lucky people that are watching us here, Marcos is offering you a free starter kit. So it's hard to get going. He talked about those first few moments, just to with the tennis court, throwing up on the tennis court, wanting to go to the sauna, like it's hard to sort of get going. Like, what do you do? Where do you start? So he's got a starter kit that will help you, and it's 7 steps to lose weight without dieting. And you have a Spanish and an English version. You've been mainly helping people in Spanish, but and thank you for doing all that. We always communicate in English, you and I. And so I want to appreciate you for that. Your English is fantastic. So you can see that he's able to help both Spanish and English speaking, but he has both versions, so you're going to be able to pick which ones. And thank you, Gerald. Gerald just popped the links for those starter kits, so you're welcome to grab one of those for yourself. And I know you mentioned the recipe for the green juice in the starter. Is that green?
It's inside the starter kit.
Awesome, awesome. So
It's my favorite green juice recipe.
yeah, I've seen the video of you making green juice or drinking green juice. So I now associate you with green juice. So excellent. So for people who are like, yeah, well, juicing, that's great. I don't know what to do. Now you will. Marcos has included that in that starter kit. So I want to thank you for that. Anything else that you want to say just as we wrap up here, Marcos, either about or about anything?
I want to thank you. It has been really amazing to know you, to work with you, to be working side by side. And it's amazing what we both together have achieved.
Yeah, absolutely. I quite agree. And it's been such a, gosh, such a honor and a pleasure to watch you just go choom, choom, as I see you just by leaps and bounds. It's just like you're running up those stairs three steps at a time, and just really helping people. This really matters to you that people get help, because you know what it was like. You know how it felt to not be in shape, and then you want to be there for your kids, but you know what it's like to be in their shoes. So I want to commend you for that, and always, like, quickly getting things better and better. Like, even today as we were talking, he's like, I gotta get this, I have to get an English version, and can you make sure that this translated well, and just that care for you. And he hasn't even met you yet, but he's already thinking about you, to make sure that he's offering his best for people, and that they understand. So feel free to friend request Marcos. He's an awesome guy, and a great leader, and and stay connected with him. So with that, I want to thank all of you for tuning in to Health Coach TV. It's such a pleasure to resume this. We've done these previously, but we're going to be doing these weekly. And there's going to be 2 times. So there's going to be an evening one right now. And then because I have so many health coaches and a community that is in Italy and France and the UK and Israel and global, we are also offering a morning well, it's morning time for us here in Pacific Coast, but it'll be evening for them over there, so we can capture that. So next, we're going to alternate evening and weekends. Friend request me at Shaunna Menard, and you'll be able to see when those are. And I just want to thank you once again, Marcos, for shining so bright and being a great role model, walking your talk. And I want to thank all of you for tuning in. So with that, have a fantastic rest of your week. Go grab that green juice recipe, and most of all, be good for you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.